So talking about Louisiana Tech, yesterday Joe Lenardi came out with a new bracketology prediction, and Louisiana Tech, according to Joe, is the one that he predicts to come out of Conference USA. So right now they're projected to be in the tournament, and they're a team that it's one of the older teams in the country, and that they're averaging 20.64 years of age. They really have a lot of backcourt experience and really good players. Bracey is incredibly athletic, really skilled, unbelievably quick. He's got incredible lightning, speed, quickness. He's a very, very good player. Archibald, who played very well in that Indiana game, is a very good player, can really shoot it. I love the kid, Ledoux, who's a transfer from McNeese State, who's a very good three-point shooter and shot it well, 37% on a ton of attempts. This is his first year at Louisiana Tech. Derek Jean is another very experienced, strong, physical guard. So they've got a number of good players, and if you watch like their Creighton game, which I watched, I mean, it's a three-point game with 6 minutes to go on the road in front of 14,000 people, and they're good. They're tough. They fell down behind Indiana, and then came back and really made it a tough game down the stretch. Indiana pulled away the last 4 minutes, but those games, they could have won either one of those games potentially. They've won 20 games. 3 of his first 4 years there. His coach is a very good coach. He was an assistant with Larinaga, both at George Mason and at Miami, so he really has a clue on what he's doing. Eric Conkle. So this is going to be a tough challenge for a veteran group. They play man-to-man. They will play some zone. They'll press after free throws. They get after you defensively and really try to pressure you. We've had a big break in the action between when we played last, and I think we made good use of it. I think we had some really good practices. We had very good practices on Friday and Saturday, and then again on Monday and Tuesday. Today we'll back it off and not go as long. We've been getting up and down, and it's a tough time for players right now. Today's the last day of class. Tomorrow's reading day, and then we go into finals. So they've got a lot. They got their heads spinning with a lot of academic responsibilities right now, which is tough at times for all players, all student athletes. Questions?
Go ahead and get the microphone over to.
Ben, you have 5 players averaging double figures right now. Have you been pretty pleased with how balanced the scoring output has been in the first 7 games?
Yeah, I think anytime you have a good team, you have balance in your scoring, and my past suggests that. When you look at the really best teams I've ever coached, they've always had 4 or 5 guys that are double figures, and I love that. I mean, any one of them can go off at any time. DJ Stewart, for example, is really, he and Iverson are really growing. They're the kids are having a lot of growth right now because it's their first year. And like yesterday in practice, DJ was fantastic. It was Iverson's birthday yesterday. But those kids are really coming on. I think, Reggie took a big step in the tournament, the way he was shooting the ball. So he started early, no offense.
No, you're good.
And but so I'm we're getting better, we're improving, and we're going to be challenged again tomorrow.
We'll get the microphone to you. We'll get it over to Brian and then Paul to coach's right.
You mentioned the long break from the last game. As a coach, you're just getting the season going. Is it frustrating to you and the players to have to take that kind of break?
Well, I'll explain to you why we did it. Initially, going into the season, I thought that there was a good chance, based on information that was being fed to me, that Nick would be eligible after missing just 5 more games. So in order to have him ready to play that Villanova game, which is what we were shooting for, we front-loaded the schedule. We played 4 games prior to going to Myrtle Beach, where typically you'd only probably play 3. And so that's why this break occurred, is because we tried to front-load it, expecting that he would be eligible. It didn't work out, but that's where it was, and we weren't going to try to change it when we finally got word that it was 10 games in mid-August.
Coach, obviously, a team can create its identity and chemistry the longer a season goes, but at this point in the season, I know it's still early, but what stood out to you about the makeup of this team? What do you think this team's identity can be?
Well, I think we're very physical. I think we rebound the ball extremely well, especially in the offensive end. We want to be as dominant on the defensive end as we are on the offensive end. We've got to improve in that area. I think we're becoming a good defensive team. The one game that we've had a poor defensive showing was the game that we lost against a very good team. I think we're a very unselfish team, and you know, I like how hard we play and how unselfish we play, and you know, we're physical, we're big.
Go ahead, Logan to coach's right, and then to the middle with Danny.
Coach, drawing closer to the return of Nick, just how has he looked in practice since we can't see?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The return of Nick.
Yeah, Nick's done well. I mean, Nick's practiced really hard, and he helps us get better every day because of the kind of, you know, pressure he applies defensively on the ball, as well as, you know, him running the second team. And he's done a really good job, and so, you know, he's made that group much more competitive. But he's looking good, and he's shooting the ball well, and he's, you know, great physical condition right now, so I think he's just chomping at the bit, waiting for, you know, his opportunity to get back out there.
Coach, you remember Iverson's still a freshman, and just talk about his the way he's entered this season, how he's come along, and
I think
so
he's
far
really
the game
good.
play.
He's done a really good job. You know, you're asking a lot anytime you throw a freshman out there and say you're the point. You know, that's the most important position on the floor, the hardest to play. There's a lot of responsibility that goes with being that point guard, and I thought he's handled it really well. I think he's done a good job scoring the ball. You know, he's a natural scorer, and I think he's learned a lot. You know, he's getting better defensively. You can see them. You know, we watched a lot of film. One of the good things about having this break is we watched edits from all three of those games in Myrtle Beach. And I think it really helps when you see and you study it and you're learning. And you know, he's improving, and he's getting better and better. So I'm really excited about him and what he's accomplished thus far, and even more so what his potential is.
We'll go back to Garrett to coach's left.
Ben, a good number of SEC teams have been upset at home so far throughout the non-conference. Do you think that might have a big picture effect on how many league teams get in at the end of the year to the tournament?
Well, you know, of course it's not good for our conference, but, you know, Lenardi has with 7 teams in, based on yesterday's bracketology. Now, obviously it's early, it's not, but, you know, bottom line is I think our league has a lot of respect nationally, and I think we've got some really good teams and programs. I think everybody's gonna get better. And it's not just our league. I mean, I did see where Duke got beat at home, and I saw where someone else really good. Who was the other big upset that got beat? There was somebody else that got beat at home like that, you know, that you would never expect it. It happens.
Anything else for Coach before we let him go?
Okay. Yeah, you know,